were both abusive, mentally, verbally, physically, everything. And if I'm going to be on this and keeping it real, as we've been abusive to most of this relationship.
And if you ask me, her apology she had today, initially, it was, yeah, I did it and I'll do it again apology.
Him, I didn't do anything wrong, but the fact that your guys are doing this to me and he's the man in the situation, I'm gonna comply. I am. I'm not gonna argue with you at all. But you had me on camera, but at the same time, what he has on camera, when I had my phone, shows something different. So
Corey Holcomb didn't just poke fun at Sha'Carri Richardson for stirring up drama. He went straight for her and openly called out her credibility on his podcast in front of thousands of viewers. This wasn't the usual light jabs comedians make. Corey went all in, accusing her of flat-out lying about being in a domestic violence situation. Then he brought out proof that completely flipped the story around. Now the internet is buzzing with one big question. If Corey is telling the truth, how long has Sha'Carri been pretending to be the victim? And let's be honest, she's not just facing backlash online. She's furious. She can't stand the fact that someone as blunt and unapologetic as Corey Holcomb called her out publicly. Once Corey puts your name out there, he's not taking it back. But before we get into Sha'Carri's reaction, we have to go back a bit. Because this whole thing really hits different when you see how long she's been leaning on that victim narrative, and how harshly Corey just dismantled it. The turning point didn't even come from her directly. It all started when Corey sat down on his show and said what fans have quietly suspected for months. Looking straight into the camera, he dropped the bomb. Sha'Carri was wrong for trying to get Christian Coleman locked up when she was actually the one putting her hands on him, knowing she had the upper hand in that situation. Corey made it clear, I can't forgive you for that. That one line sent social media into a frenzy.
Here is something that I see too often, where you try and get the male that's with you in trouble with the authorities because you know most of the time you have leverage over the male when you say something's wrong. I don't like people who do that in this society. If you are a female who tries to use her gender to get the man you with arrested intentionally, they saw her throwing headphones at the man and everything. But when the police came, she acted like it was the other way around. Right. I can't.
Up until that point, Carrie had been working hard to protect her image, playing the part of the hurt one who deserved sympathy. But Corey wasn't buying it at all. He didn't just say she lied. He laid out the whole scenario. He talked about the manipulation, the repeated behavior, and how she used people's sympathy to avoid facing criticism. And when Corey calls someone a liar, people pay attention. That's when Sha'Carri lost it. She went off online, blasting Corey in posts, threatening to take legal action, and trying to paint him as insensitive. But instead of helping her case, it only made her seem more desperate. The problem for her was that Corey wasn't just making wild claims. He was pointing to the same evidence and videos everyone else had already seen. Her story didn't fall apart overnight. The cracks had been showing long before Corey spoke. If we go back to when Sha'Carri and Christian Coleman first got together, things seemed perfect on the outside. She was flashy and outspoken. He was quiet and disciplined. They were seen as track and field's golden couple. Fans called them the it couple of the sport. But behind closed doors, it was far from perfect. Christian's own family started noticing warning signs. They saw how Sha'Carri kept him tied down, canceling family dinners because she wanted him with her, ignoring calls because they were always together. Even teammates whispered about how off-balance the relationship felt. And whenever anyone criticized her, Christian would defend her like his life depended on it. Not because of love, but because he was afraid.
The toxicness gets physical because there were claims that she was being abused. But the last conversation that you and I had, you also said that it was on both ends.
Yes, we were both abusive, mentally, verbally, physically, everything. And if I'm going to be on this and keeping it real, as we've been abusive to most of this relationship. And other people, there's people who seen that, people who know that, you know, and will still honestly come and go, toxic, push and pull, and still get over the obstacles, until I said, I have learned my lesson. I don't want to go over no more of these obstacles, right? With the same thing. So it's time for me to cut the ties and learn the lesson and move on, right? Me moving on now is where we've been abusive come about, like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what is the reason for posting that now. Is that a strategy? Is that something for marketing? Is that for business? I don't know, because you still have my email. right? And you know, my mailbox is empty. As I said, there's no mail in there. So for the people out there telling me what to say about charge, mom, she put it on the internet, so the more answer on the internet, right? If they're going to charge me, they're going to charge me. If they're not going to charge me, they're going to charge me. And I doubt that because we both have our receipts. And
So when Corey accused Sha'Carri of lying about a domestic violence situation, it wasn't some random attack. It matched a pattern people had been noticing for years. Take her history with ex-girlfriend Jonev Brown, for example. Jonev opened up about it during an interview with podcaster Kareem Boyds. And it was clear she wasn't chasing attention or stirring up drama. She just wanted the truth out there. According to Jonev, their relationship was toxic in every way. Mentally, verbally, and physically, on both sides. When she was asked if she'd ever go back, her reaction said everything. She flinched before answering, then called it a painful lesson she was grateful to leave behind. That didn't sound like bitterness. It sounded like real trauma. And for anyone thinking Jonev came forward just to get back at Sha'Carri, that wasn't the case. She made it clear she wasn't looking for sympathy, only to share what actually happened. The situation didn't just appear out of nowhere either. Sha'Carri started it herself. She lit the fire when she posted on her Instagram story making Jonev out to be a jealous, obsessed ex. The post read, "I was in a relationship with a Jamaican athlete that never cared about me from the jump. I was used and stolen from. Yet I protected her from the judgment of her country and family while they dragged me. I had to deal with homophobia and so much more that I'm still healing from." That single post completely flipped the story. Suddenly, Jonev was the villain, getting canceled left and right, while Sha'Carri was seen as the strong survivor. It wasn't until Jonev felt forced to speak up that people started hearing the other side. Even then, she still tried to shield Sha'Carri, saying the IG post was just damage control, like she was covering for the person who hurt her. The biggest revelation came when Jonev said Sha'Carri had threatened her and even teamed up with others to try and ruin her life. When Jonev talked about it, her voice shook, the kind of tremble that comes from reliving something you wish you could forget. That's why Corey's call-out landed so heavily. He didn't start a new scandal. He exposed a pattern that had been there from the beginning, a pattern that began with Jonev, carried over to Christian Coleman, and showed how Sha'Carri had been playing the victim for years. So when the airport footage with Christian finally surfaced, the internet wasn't surprised, except for Sha'Carri, who rushed to twist the story yet again.
But you hear me, right? So this is the position that Christian Coleman puts me into, okay? Because he's a coward, and I don't want anything to do with him at this point going forward. My name is Sha'Carri Richardson. Have no problem with letting you know who I am. Haven't put my hands on him. We had an argument. I will be honest about that. An argument, and that's pretty much it. The argument, pretty much, he's a liar. He lied about a couple things that's personally, you know, just in a relationship. I pretty much, officers can understand what a relationship is about, but he lied. He's a liar. And that was something that I kind of just grasped, and emotionally, I'm just like, bet you do your thing, but you're asking me for things that is within my possession, and for my right, I don't have to give it to you because it's in my position. But when it came to the point that I saw that he chose to make it more about the police and things of that nature, that showed that he made a choice. So I just want to be more professional and just come professionally and let you know, like, hey, relationship thing, have no problem. We're working with you guys. So I'm not hiding. Right.
Was there any type of physical?
No, I didn't touch him. He didn't touch me. I will be honest.
Hit him with anything?
No, I haven't hit him with anything.
Like that?
Christian, are you serious right now?
So then in Washington State, he doesn't get a say.
But I understand. We were arguing. But I understand entirely.
Within 4 hours,
we were arguing.
an arrest will be made.
I'm not gonna resist. But I'm telling you that we was arguing. I didn't him. I didn't do anything wrong. But the fact that your guys are doing this to me and he's the man in the situation, I'm gonna comply. I am. I'm not gonna argue with you at all.
I appreciate that.
But you had me on camera, but at the same time, what he has on camera, I have my phone, shows something different. So if I need to show that, I will.
We have you on camera all around here.
Okay, but I have my phone that shows something different. But Christian, thank you, Christian.
Don't talk to him right now.
Okay, I won't. Thank you so much, officer. They are arresting me right now, Christian. Sissy, they're arresting me right now. Am I gonna go actually to jail right now?
You're actually gonna go to jail.
Wait, but right now,
It's a physical
I didn't. Can he tell you that I didn't do nothing to him?
We have it on camera.
Christian, are you serious right now?
Alright.
Christian, I'm about to go to jail because of you right now.
The problem was, the footage didn't lie. In that clip, Sha'Carri was clearly the aggressor, pushing Christian, taking swings at him even as he tried to walk away. And Christian's body language said everything. He didn't look shocked, and he didn't react like this was new. He froze, head down, shoulders slouched, like someone who had been through it many times before. That one video shattered her version of events, but instead of taking responsibility, Sha'Carri doubled down. When the cops arrived, she flipped the script in seconds. She first brushed it off as a normal couple's disagreement, but the moment she realized she might be the one getting arrested, she turned on Christian instantly. She called him a coward, accused him of setting her up, and even claimed he had put his hands on her. That was the exact lie Corey Holcomb had called out. Corey said, "Sha'Carri knows how the system works, and played it to her advantage, even if it meant destroying Christian's career and reputation." He even shared a personal story about warning his own son to stay away from women with violent tendencies like hers. His son ignored the warning, got caught in a similar situation, ended up with a DV charge, and was sent to rehab, while the woman who set him up walked away untouched. Then Corey dropped the detail that his son is only 24. Fans were glued to every word, because Corey wasn't just calling her a liar, he was revealing the whole playbook. He broke down exactly how she spun the story and why people needed to stop protecting her. The internet lit up with comments like, "Didn't know Sha'Carri Richardson was like that, but I'm not surprised." And Sha'Carri Richardson is an abuser, but not a word from her sponsors or the Olympic Committee. Interesting. The real twist came when Christian himself spoke up, and instead of defending himself, he defended her. In an interview, he said she needed understanding and help, not punishment.
It was just a sucky situation all around. Like, I don't feel as if like she should have been arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, people have discussions and emotions and stuff like that. And she has like things that she needs to work on for herself, of course. And so do I, so do you, like everybody. And I'm the type of guy, like, I'm in the business of just like extending grace and mercy and love. And I feel as if like I don't try to look at obstacles either. Like, I just look at like situations like this to just like, you know, take a step back, analyze yourself mentally, and then just try to see what you can do to be your best self so that you can move forward, so you can just be the type of person and a human that God needs you to be for his kingdom and for his glory. And so that's kind of how
The way he said it told a different story. His face looked drained, and his tone sounded like he was reciting lines someone had fed him. It was the most defeated version of Christian fans had ever seen. People noticed instantly. He could barely make eye contact. His words felt scripted, and his body language screamed fear. Corey even played that interview clip on his show, pointing out how Sha'Carri had him so controlled that she could manipulate him into defending her on camera. That's when she really began to unravel, because Corey wasn't just attacking her name. He was tearing apart the carefully polished image she had built for the public. Her first move was to release what she called an apology video. It barely lasted a minute, and she spent most of it smiling like it was all a joke. She claimed she was reflecting and taking accountability, but the energy was completely off. It didn't feel sincere. It felt like a performance. Corey roasted the video on air, laughing and saying, "That ain't no apology. That's someone laughing at y'all while she gets away with it." Fans agreed, flooding Twitter with posts like, "Her apology video had zero remorse, sickening," and "This is manipulation 101. Christian needs to get away from her before she ruins him," so she tried again. This time, she posted a long Instagram story aimed directly at Christian, writing, "My apologies should be just as loud as my actions, honestly louder. To Christian, I love you and I'm so sorry." But by then, no one was buying it. The comments were ruthless, with people calling her fake and demanding she be removed from the league. One person wrote, "She's apologizing for the video, not the abuse. God forgives. But Sha'Carri Richardson is an abuser and still no word from her sponsors or the Olympic Committee." Interesting. Meanwhile, Corey kept the pressure on, reposting those harsh fan reactions to show just how quickly her image was falling apart.
Already? Oh my goodness.
He is doing something to help himself now, because he know I was going to be through with him. Because he had a girlfriend, his mother told me that girl likes to fight him. And I told him, hey man, let me tell you something about a girl who likes to fight. You're the one that's going to get in trouble for it. I don't care how much she hits you. If she hits you, you're supposed to get away from her. Because you're only human, you're going to hit her back. And when you hit her back, you're going to get in trouble. Long story short, he called it domestic for hitting her. And I'm like, what did you think?
And it wasn't just random people online turning on her. Fellow athletes, friends, and even some of Christian's own family started posting subtle messages of support for him. Things like, "No matter how good you think it is, there's always better." That's when it became obvious the tide had officially shifted against Sha'Carri. What really had people talking, though, wasn't only her fake apologies. It was the money and reputation angle. Sha'Carri had built her brand on being the fiery underdog, the one who overcame it all. And that image sold sneakers, drinks, and endorsements. But once Corey ripped that image apart, Word started spreading that major brands were paying close attention. Nike, Sprite, and even a luxury fashion collab were linked to her, and fans were tagging them under every new scandal clip asking, "So y'all still backing her?" Interesting. The silence from those companies was loud. No statements, no press releases, just nothing, while her name kept trending for all the wrong reasons. And that kind of silence usually means only one thing. Behind the scenes, lawyers, PR teams, and agents are reviewing contracts and debating if her image can be saved or if she's now too toxic to touch. The Olympic Committee stayed completely out of it, which made people even angrier. Fans felt they were protecting her because she was a star runner, while Christian was left to deal with it alone. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds, with posts like, "If this was the other way around, he'd already be banned for life," and "Funny how the rules change when the abuser is the fan favorite." Meanwhile, Sha'Carri didn't slow down. She kept posting selfies, dropping subtle digs, and acting like nothing was wrong, which only made the backlash grow.
Liar. He lied about a couple things that's personally, just in a relationship. I pretty much, officers can understand what a relationship is about, but he lied. He's a liar. Okay. And that was something that I kind of just grasped, and emotionally, I'm just like, bet you do your thing. But
every new post she made was met with thousands of comments tearing her apart. People accused her of hiding behind her fame, playing the victim one moment, then showing off like nothing had happened the next. Corey didn't hold back either. On his show, he said, "This is what happens when you protect the wrong one. The truth always leaks out, no matter how many cameras, sponsors, or smiles you hide behind." That line went viral on TikTok with clips of Sha'Carri's airport. Footage edited alongside her apology videos, all captioned, "The mask always falls off." By then, it wasn't just about a messy relationship. It had become a real question of whether her career could survive the backlash. As the brand stayed silent, other athletes and even celebrities began weighing in. And that's when the situation really exploded.
Y'all, it's Sha'Carri, and more than anything, definitely a lot of self-reflection, a lot of understanding of not only putting myself in a compromised situation, but somebody that I have a deep care and appreciation for as well, something that holding myself accountable. I see myself, I'm taking this time to not only see myself, but get myself a certain level of health that overall is going to reflect who I truly am in my heart.
Track stars who had trained with Sha'Carri started posting cryptic messages about wolves in sheep's clothing and standing up for real victims. One Olympic medalist even tweeted, "Fame don't change people. It just exposes who they really are." Fans immediately knew who the messages were about. Then came a bombshell. A former teammate of Christian's went live and hinted that this wasn't the first time Sha'Carri had gotten physical during practice trips. They didn't name names, but the implication was clear. She had a history of lashing out behind the scenes, and people were done covering for her. The live clip got shared everywhere, and the comment sections erupted with fans demanding proof. Some celebrities tried defending her, but it backfired. A rapper she had been seen with called the backlash overblown, saying, "Y'all act like she the first person to wild out in a relationship. Stop dragging my sis." Instead of calming things down, it made fans dig even deeper, posting screenshots, videos, and receipts proving the situation was far more serious. Even Christian's family started speaking out. One cousin wrote, "Love don't hurt like this. Protecting peace is better than protecting pride." That shifted the conversation. People began asking why Christian was still defending her when his own family was urging him to leave. Corey ate it all up on his show, highlighting those posts and saying, "Look, even the people closest to Christian are done covering for her. That should tell you everything you need to know." That clip alone racked up millions of views, with fans calling it the final nail in her public image. By now, it wasn't just Sha'Carri versus Corey. It had become an entire community exposing her behavior. Once the floodgates opened, there was no stopping what might come out next. That's when the fallout hit Sha'Carri hardest. Corey wasn't just dismantling her story in public. Christian's circle was turning against her too. Behind the scenes, she spiraled, ranting privately, lashing out at friends, threatening to sue Corey, even claiming the whole world was plotting against her. But the louder she screamed, the clearer it became that she wasn't winning. She was drowning. Then came the breaking point. Christian went silent. No posts, no statements, no defense of her at all. His quiet hit harder than words ever could, showing he had finally tapped out. The last sighting of him was a quiet flight overseas. Since then, nothing. No appearances, no updates, just total silence, which spoke louder than anything he could have said. With Christian gone and the truth catching up, Sha'Carri's entire empire looked like it was hanging by a thread. Before you go, smash that like button if you're following this mess, hit subscribe if you're riding with us, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss a single update. You're going to want to see what happens next.